Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.
So we're going to have a repeat of last year's event, International Men's Day event, where a group of us have come together. Funny enough, women. However, we've got the men on board. The event has been organised by women, but it's all being delivered by men. So it's International Men's Day, and International Men's Day is a global event. So it's not just the Isle of Man that celebrates it, it's international. And it's a really big opportunity to get a conversation started about men's health, the issues men face in society, bring men together to connect, provide a safe environment so we can get that conversation started. And last year when we done International Men's Day, we provided this event, we had no idea how it was going to go. And in the end, we had 54 men come through the door with different needs for the day. And the day was so successful that we thought we need to do this again this year. And here we are.
And one of the things that we've talked about in the past, and it's quite commonly talked about really, is the fact that men sometimes find it hard to open up, find it hard to communicate. How did they respond to the event last year? Did you get some kind of breakthroughs, and were some men sort of opening up a bit on the event?
Well, we did, and that's why we want to do it again this year, because what we do on the day is we offer so many different opportunities for men to share, connect. They've got breath work, they've got mindfulness, yoga, cold dipping, walking with Gary, creativity. But I'll tell you a few things that did happen last year, because I took lots of comments last year from the men, but things like the high ropes course, men come off the high ropes course saying, I felt like a little boy, like a child again. That joy, that easy, not having to think about providing for the family, work, the stress that comes with being a man in society. I could just swing off my harness on a high ropes course and be free. And that stuck with me, that comment. And then we had men that had gone in and done the breathwork session, and men who were holding grief, trauma, heartache, all stuff that men experience, like we all experience as part of our human experience. And some men had come to the breathwork and walked away with it saying, you know what, I never even knew that breathing would make me feel so good. But another man had a release and he let go, and he thought, well, I've let go for a bit of whatever it was that man was holding. So everyone has something different that they come with and they take away from the day. And it's interesting that, as you say, it is organised by women, though. So, why do you think that is, that it's women that feel like they have to do this? Well, I'm not going to answer that question. I do know the answer, but everyone might not like the answer. Gary, could you answer why you think women organise it and not the men?
Yeah, so women are doers in respect of this type of thing. They accept this more, and they have better group sessions, if you like, without having to go to any professional. They're really good at talking, ladies. I can tell you lots of stories about women who come on groups who just talk forever. But, that aside, they're absolutely brilliant in respect that they tend to make their own support. And because they make their own support, they know the benefits of it. And they realise that a lot of men won't do that. So what they do is we find that they're really good at sorting those things out and getting guys together. It worked really well last year. Again, it was ladies who organised it last year. 55 guys turned up. They had a great time. A lot of guys opened up while they were there. I take the walk in, I take them out for a walk. We go out into the countryside, we get some fresh air, talk about what's out and about, talk about the peace that it gives you when you're out and the opportunity to think. But what's really nice is that you do get guys opening up to each other, not necessarily to me, but to each other, because they're in a similar boat. And it is down to the organisation, without a shadow of a doubt. If we didn't have the ladies organising it, I don't think it would come together in such a great fashion. But the ladies do organise it, they do put it on, and the guys respond. And I think that's brilliant. I think it needs to be done.
So do you think that actually inherently men do want to talk, but they just need a little bit of kind of encouragement to do so?
Yeah, so it's really difficult for a guy to talk. There's the bravado thing, their circle of friends might not be necessarily the circle of friends who are likely to listen in the same way. They'll maybe palm something off, use humour to palm something off, and that bravado sometimes means that a guy won't open up. And I'll tell you that from my own experience. So it's very difficult for a guy to actually open up to somebody and trust somebody to open up and show that vulnerability. Remember, we're guys, we're big, tough guys, aren't we? So it's very difficult to show that vulnerability. And what you tend to find is when guys get together who are in the same boat, they're quite willing to show that vulnerability to each other because they're all in the same boat. And like I say, they don't show it necessarily to me, although I come on as the lead for the walk. They don't necessarily talk to me specifically about their problems. What they tend to find is that they have common ground with guys that they're walking with, and that creates a friendship. It creates that trust, that capability to talk. It's just brilliant. It really is good, and it's lovely to see and watch as well. You see the little groups coming together, and you realise that actually they've got common ground in what they're experiencing, and they're able to talk through things, and they feel comfortable doing it. And it's Kate will tell you the same thing. It's really quick how they come together. Once they're in that environment, they open up really quickly to each other, and that's probably what you need. And I have no doubt, I mean, I haven't checked, but I have no doubt that some of those guys went away from last year's event and stay in touch with each other. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think that'll have happened, although I haven't got proof of that. So I'd like to think that's what happened. But
I suppose you're kind of creating a safe space for them, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what sort of ages are you finding the guys that are taking part in these?
It's varied, really. But
we had fathers and sons last year, so we had young, the ages 16 and above. But we did have a 17-year-old who came with his father, and they did bushcraft, which was lovely. So it varied, right from 17 right through. We had some men from Heroes on the Water who came last year, and they were a lot older, and they did the bushcraft, and I think they could have actually ran the bushcraft themselves because they were far better. They were, we'll show you how to light a fire, because they were ex-military and they were older, so that's the kind of thing. If you think you've got an 80-year-old man on a bushcraft session sat next to a 17-year-old boy, that is the kind of intergenerational knowledge and relationships which this day is about. And I know Gary said it, about talking and men not talking. It is about that, but that's like a little part of the day, right? Because it's not like, hey, we're not saying to the lads of the Isle of Man, come on to our event, we want you to talk. Don't think that, because that's not what this is. Yeah. This is about providing a space. And also, one of the themes for this year is positive male role models. So what we've done is tried to get as many positive male role models delivering or facilitating on the day. Obviously, Gary leading the walk. You've got Andy North, great. He's doing a whack and whittle drumming session. So men will be whacking drums and whittling wood around a beautiful fire. You've got Mike Cooley, who will deliver mindfulness. Chris Hardesty, who will guide the men through a breathwork practice. Dave Smythe delivering yoga. You've got Kieran and Dan doing bushcraft. You've got some really positive male role models. And also, one of the other aims of the day is to say, hey men, if you're not feeling great, or if you've got things going on, you might be able to do breath work and it could calm you down, or you could maybe sign up to Andy North's whack and whittle session and go and drum, and you don't have to talk. You're just there, aren't you, connecting, you're just being yourself. And it's about that as well. So not about talking, and also, you remember I said at the beginning about men just coming and having fun and tapping into that childlike way. It's about that as well. And plus, you get loads of free grub on the day. Like a proper big free scran, loads of cakes, loads of tea. So they don't even have to come and do an activity, do they? No. They can just come along and they can just eat, if that's what they prefer.
Something else that men don't necessarily do is go out to have a look at these coping mechanisms and these things that are available. Well, this is for free and they're there, so they can give it a go. It might not be for them, but at least they've given it a go to have a look and see if that is something they can use, and they'll get something out of the day by being able to try different things. And
part of it surely as well, when you look at the list of different things that are going on, it's nature as well, isn't it? Which we're so lucky over here, because it surrounds us. I mean, it takes you 5 minutes to get out somewhere in the green or in the blue, and that's super important, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. The outdoors for me is probably the most important thing for any sort of well-being for myself. And the bonus for being on the island is you can be in the smoke, if you like, in Douglas, doing your shopping, and within 10 minutes you can be totally deserted in the middle of the mountains there. All right, the roads aren't too far away, but you can be isolated and have time to yourself in peace and quiet. And that's the beauty of the island, really. And I think it's underestimated, that ability to get out into the outdoors and what it can do for people, and that's what I'm trying to show, and that's what we're trying to promote, really.
Do you think on the other side of that, the fact we are on an island, does that present unique challenges to men because of the idea of it being sort of like a small place and quite contained? And do you think men are in a slightly different situation over here with challenges?
Well, I'm not just going to say men. I think everybody is. The problem is to highlight that you've got maybe a mental health issue, or that you've got an issue, or you're suffering from grief, or this, that, and the other. It's a small island. Everyone knows everyone, so it's very difficult. In fact, I would say it's more difficult here to open up and show that vulnerability than it maybe would be in the UK or in a bigger country. So yeah, I can see that is a bit of a boundary, but the bonus is there's still that opportunity for privacy, and there's still that opportunity to do it, and that's what I'm hoping that this day will show, is that there are things that you are able to use to cope with whatever you're going through in private and in confidence.
And then if it does float your boat, you've got community around you as well, and
Absolutely.
people around you too, which you can kind of rely on and turn to, which is brilliant. Some of the stuff that's going on, Kate, you've got a fabulous list of things: sea kayaking, yoga, you've got your whittling, like you said, massages, lunch, laughter, connection. It's all about connection, isn't it? So if people are listening to this and thinking that sounds like it is, right up my street, they need to book in advance, don't they?
Yeah, so the booking system, the wonderful Nick from Green Creek, we all call him the sauna guy on Lexi Prom, don't we? The wonderful Nick.
Or Fenella,
and Fenella, he goes to Fenella Beach as well. Nick has kindly put the booking system onto his website, which is on greencreek.im, so you can book directly through there. You can also book at soulaventures@gmail.com. There is a booking link moving around the social media platforms if they put International Men's Day Isle of Man in there. The entire event will be held on the Ballanet Estate there in Laxey and at the Salmon Centre.
And it is on the 30th of November, so book yourselves on. It's free. I mean, why would you not want to do that? I mean, if someone's still not sure, Gary, and they're thinking, I just don't know if it's for me, what would you say to encourage them?
Oh, just come and see what we've got to offer. Come and just even if you stay for 10 minutes and think, well, you know what, it's not for me, at least you've had a look at what's there. But just get yourself booked on and come. I'll guarantee, judging off what happened last year and the feedback we got, it's going to be a great day. If this is what you want to do, then come and do it.
Okay, so this is a rallying call to all the island's men. So what we want you to do, lads, is grab your granddads and maybe bring them along to the bushcraft session, and maybe he can probably teach you how to light a fire, or grab your nephews out of bed and maybe book them onto the kayak. Maybe bring your dad along to try some yoga, or get your great uncle and bring him along to try a creative workshop. Anyone, just rally, just ring your mate who you've not spoke to for a year and say, hey, do you fancy doing this day, or even one of the sessions? As long as they're over 16, and you are all more than welcome.
That is a Kate rallying call.
Come on, lads. Hey, lads, just get there, will ya? Yeah.
Are we still being recorded?
Yeah.
Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.